Hello, friends, and welcome to the Cinemondo podcast.
Here we are. See, we're
Kathy.
blue. We're underwater. Ooh,
Yeah.
underwater.
Look, I'm doing
Apparently,
mocap.
this new Avatar movie is underwater, I guess.
Some of it, yeah. It looks like there's a lot. I mean, it looks like I'm going to admit that I've already seen the trailer.
Oh,
To me,
I have not, so we'll have
It
to.
looks like the first movie, but underwater. That should be their tagline. Avatar 2, the first
Avatar.
movie, but underwater.
Next time it'll be on another planet.
Yeah.
I think it already is. I don't know what this. I don't even remember. When I first saw Avatar, I really liked it at the time because it was kind
Yeah.
of cutting edge. But when I think back on it, it doesn't age well, and I don't remember. Now I kind of don't like it, but I don't know why.
Unfortunately, the story wasn't really there. It was like,
Yeah.
they have a magic tree, and the bad people want to pull the tree down, and all, And
Well, I always like a good environmental message.
yeah, but when it's done in a way that doesn't feel like you're being fed something or heavy-handedly,
Yeah.
and all that. And it just seemed a little bit heavy-handed, and especially when you watch it now. I think when we watched it the first time, it was probably a little overwhelming with the visuals. It almost didn't matter what the story was. It was so beautiful to look at, and such a wild idea of these, 12-foot tall alien creatures that you can inhabit. You can go into their minds and run around on this wild planet. But the James Cameron has done some great stuff.
Iconic, great films, like some of the best.
Yeah, I mean, when think about the story of Aliens, for instance, it's like a continuation of the first movie, but he took it and he put it in a different world. It's basically a bunch of people fighting against aliens. Who will live, who will not.
Yeah.
And simple story, that's it. They go to another planet, and aliens come, and they try to survive, and some do and some don't. And that works in that kind of a story.
Yeah.
And then Avatar came along. I think he was trying to do another very simple. I don't say simple in a bad way, because simple is excellent if it's done properly. But I think maybe Avatar was a little bit too simple.
I think it was. I think the matter of it was he's a big environmentalist, and he wanted to the message. It was a little preachy, a little simplistic, but it was one of the first times you really, really saw them pour tons of money into new technology, new ways to animate. Like, it was sort of the cutting edge, creating technology to create a film kind of idea.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that the story is great, but I don't know. Let's see what this story looks like, shall we?
Part 2.
Let's see if it holds up.
Avatar 2. Shall we watch the trailer?
Let's do it.
And then react?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to mark it.
Okay.
Love the fish.
Dad, I know you think I'm crazy.
Never mind those big rocks.
But I feel her. I hear her heartbeat. She's so close.
So what does her heartbeat sound like?
Mighty.
Terminator's here.
We cannot let you bring your war here.
Outcast. That's all they see.
I see you.
The way of water connects all things. Before your birth And after your death,
This is our home!
I need you with me. And I need you to be strong. Strongheart.
I feel a little bit like a sucker, but I got kind of pulled into that.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful to look at, and
you know, and it just it brings up so many issues of like nature. And
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if even the humans were in this. It was hard to kind of tell. Maybe the technology is the humans. I couldn't quite tell, but
yeah, I think there's like a power suit in there. Somebody is like
again, the
running.
environmental aspect of it, it sort of brought up like how our country was founded. You know, when we tried to take over, and, trying to destroy an indigenous population who were, they had arrows and we had guns, and they were outmatched.
And they lived more balanced with nature.
Yeah, they were balanced. Everything was kind of working until industrialization got here.
Yeah.
So it sort of has a few of those undertones, but it also looked like a video game I really want to play. It looks so fun. I mean, I want to ride those whales. I want to the creature design was gorgeous. I'm a little on the people. I mean, they look a little, anytime you're doing anything humanoid, it gets they're a little cutesy, but hey, why not?
It still kind of has that slight uncanny valley vibe to it, where even though they're not like human faces, they're distorted human faces
and their eyes are very different,
and odd, framing, and they're skinnier and they're built weird. So they're not. It's not like people with body paint or something.
We're not being required to duplicate the human form because, like you said, everything's stretched and
right. I guess their planet has a different gravity or whatever, but I think. I always wished, even with the first one, I wish that they looked a little bit different. A little bit more different.
Yeah.
And I bet there were discussions. I bet there were a lot of pre-production things where they had sketches and they pushed it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think probably some people were like, let's bring it back because they still need to be relatable. They need to be human. We don't want people to be sort of freaked out or grossed out by how they look.
Humans want to see humans.
They want to see cute versions of humans too. Like,
humanoid.
That's why we can, watch anime and all. And it's like, even though they're like grossly out of proportion, we still like, we like characters that have bodies this big and heads that big. We can handle
they look like
that.
Babies. Yeah.
They don't look gross and alien to us. They look cute for some reason. There's certain things that appeal to our base, our built-in genetic memory for some reason.
I know.
And these kind of push it a little bit. It's like usually things that are sort of babyish are considered cute or attractive. But in this case, it's like these elongated, spindly kind of bodies with the giant
They look kind
eyes.
of feline to me. Like because they have the tiger stripes. They seem almost like cheetah proportions, long and thin and lean, and then they have the little pointy ears and very little teeth.
Right.
Like it seems like a cute version. I mean, I've seen these in video games actually. Final Fantasy has a version of this, which is like a cat person.
Yeah.
But it's so gratuitously beautiful, so gratuitously overwrought that somehow it works because they're just going for it. It's like they're not even self-conscious about it. They're like, we're gonna push this, we're gonna have the grand music, we're gonna have the really like verbose kind of dialogue, we're gonna have all this beauty and sparkle, and it's like you're just gonna be just astounded, and then you kind of are.
Well, yeah, and I think what it does is what's interesting is you look at this world that they're showing us, and you're like, wow, it's so beautiful. I want to be there. But then you think about it, and you're like, you know what? We live on a planet like that. We have beautiful things here.
Why don't we want to take care of it?
Go snorkeling in Tahiti or something, and wow, you see things just like that, only a little different. So,
and you see the kind of obscenity in a way of seeing that big metallic ship, these robots in this beautiful, balanced, beautiful, pristine, nature-bound world, and you're like, why does this have to be here? This is ugly and destroying things.
But we do need, we do need our electricity and our plumbing and our whatever for civilization to
You
work.
just have to do it
It's
clean.
yeah, there's got to be a better way to do
There is
it
a better way.
than the kind that
It
destroys
exists.
all of that beautiful stuff that we're
It
seeing,
exists. It does.
But we have beautiful stuff on our planet, and I think what
We're
James
saving.
Cameron, I think what Cameron is trying to do here is is to show you a different planet and how beautiful it is, and to make you think, maybe to trigger in your mind, wow,
Yeah.
our planet is beautiful too.
Yeah.
We should
Yeah.
be just as amazed by the incredible special effects that we have around us
We have
in the
oceans.
natural world. Yeah, with
beautiful
filled
creatures.
with crazy fish,
Want us to protect
unbelievable life forms that we have on this planet.
Yeah, so I appreciate him for that messaging.
Yeah.
because
Oh,
we
yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
need to hear that over and over and over and over again. So there's some posters.
Yeah.
I think we might have mentioned this is actually a beautiful poster, and
Yeah.
it feels like the movie. It has,
Right.
I think the eye is really well rendered, and it just looks really pretty.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. It's just the face looking at us. You can kind of see it's a little feline.
I think that's their child, and
Yeah.
I think the child has Sigourney Weaver's voice.
the main character, yeah,
Yeah.
still has the kind of Papyrus avatar logo.
It's
there's a little-
weirdly spaced or something. There's something about that logo that I've
It just
always
let it out. Yeah.
It's quirky.
They have there's some font issues here because of there's a lot of A's, and they create
Yeah.
issues with letter spacing because they always leave extra room, so you're having to kind of visually space it, and they kind of letted it out. It looks very even. Between the T and the A, there's a little bit more space because the T also has that problem in reverse. So you're trying to
Yeah.
create this visual spacing that, it's almost impossible to let this this title out very
the
well.
problem is that the V and the A fit together nicely. The
Mhm.
T and the A's fit together nicely. But the A and the R, there's an issue because the R is just straight upright and the A has a diagonal. And when you put their bases too close, but it always seemed to me that there's just a little bit too much spacing between the letters compared to that first A, V, A. And then there's the A, T, A. I could go on and on about this, but when you finally get to the A, R, it looks like there's too much space between the A and the R because
Even though there's not. Technically, there isn't. Because when
Technically,
you look
maybe
at the
there isn't.
base, everything's equal. But when you
Yeah.
have that R and the A creates all kinds of problems.
But
Just
you
say,
know,
I've
the-
had to deal with this many times.
Me too, yeah. But the
It
little
sucks.
extender on the top of the R, if they had just pulled that out a little bit towards the A, that might have solved the space problem there.
But then it's not the logo.
I know. Somebody did this
Well,
logo and
somebody
they
did
worked
this
on it
logo.
and it went through all kinds of meetings and tweaks. And I know
Yeah.
this is version 3000
His
probably.
name is apparently Chris Costello. You can talk to him about it.
Yeah.
He's the designer of this logo. So then we also have this poster, which is I don't know how official it is or how new it is, but it's listed in IMPA, so we're talking about it. This is kind of the commercial one, and the montage. It's nicely done, but I mean, you're
Yeah.
kind of missing that beautiful ethereal aqua, kind of. Maybe
Watery.
they're trying to get away from Aquaman. I don't know, but same logo, and I don't know why the logo has to be blue on here if everything else is warm. It just seems the color kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But
Way of the water.
I know
the
I would
way
like
of
to see
water.
them more blue at the top, maybe, but these posters go through a lot of phases.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we're seeing more of the cast. You're getting to see more of the people, and I think the original poster is a little more effective because it doesn't tell you too much. Like this, I'm seeing like a video game.
Yeah,
this
and
I'm
it's showing
seeing,
you a
like-
couple of new characters too.
This looks like animation that you're maybe going to care about. But there,
Well, the first poster is the face, and it's like we know what Avatar is going to look like. We know that it's going to blow us away visually, and we know what those people look like on Pandora and the colors and the oversaturated stuff.
that's right.
That's burned in anybody who's seen it. So a poster that just has the face like that, I think, is really cool. It's not trying to blow us away with too much like, here's what you're going to get. It's just showing us here's your character, and it's the implication is it's a real world.
Yeah,
And we don't have to be like overblown with showing it,
that's right.
showing our flashy animation. It's like we're just showing you a character.
Yeah, we're showing the character. And also, just to throw this in here, I'm not going to show the whole thing. You can look for it. I'm going to show in Saturday Night Live when Avatar first came out. Did a a skit that was talking about the font Papyrus that is universally despised in graphic
Yeah.
design circles, which is maybe the reason the guy used it specifically, because like, fuck that, I'm gonna make it cool again.
It's up there with Comic Sans and Hobo,
Exactly.
maybe.
So yeah, so it is a universally despised logo, just like in a font. So
Font, yeah, and
And
the
I
fact
think-
that you would use a font in a title treatment for a big, but this is not Papyrus. This is,
they have modified it.
but the interesting thing is the A's all look identical, and in a rough edged font like that, you want each letter to look like it was handmade. I was looking at opening credits for a film the other night that I was watching, an old movie from the 40s, which I watch a lot. And I freezed on the opening credits, and it has produced by, music by, and all these different things. And I was looking at the individual letters in there. It was beautiful script. It had kind of a scripty font that said starring, and then a blocky sans serif font for the names of the people who are in the film. And I was looking at each A in there, and they were all slightly different. And I was like, you know what? Somebody hand lettered all of these credits.
Interesting.
And it was absolutely beautiful. And I've seen some films. I think, in fact, a recent movie, Little Women, that came out recently. I noticed in their credits that it looked like you were so used to seeing fonts, but it looked like each letter was slightly different. And I was like, somebody did that. And I noticed.
Funny. Oh my god.
Just a shout out,
I saw an interview on boingboing.net. The designer who did this new logo, his name's John Rochelle. And he said, yes, I created the new font. So it's a new font. But he said, his quote is, like any self-respecting type designer, I've seen the Saturday Night Live Papyrus skit, and I usually watch it again whenever anyone sends me a link, which is often.
Right.
I do believe it's Ryan
Every
Gosling
day.
behind this performance. So it is different, but it does herald back. I mean, when you look at them together, it's definitely a lot bolder, but it still has that sort of,
primitive yet futuristic.
tribal but futuristic, yes.
Yeah, tribal.
I think we've gone on enough about this movie.
Yeah, well, people go on about this font.
You can't help it.
It's a topic of discussion.
Yeah.
But I think, in my opinion, I've always liked title treatments that I can tell are not a font. It's somebody actually put some work and effort and time into designing handmade fonts for films, handmade title treatments, and created their own font. I mean, there is a Star Trek font, there is a Star Wars font, and Avengers, different. I mean, it may be a font, but it's specific to the property.
They are, but then they actually make them into fonts. So
yeah, you can buy the
fonts. So, but you have to pay for it and license it. So there's definitely limitations. So
right.
There you go. Not only did we talk about this trailer, we broke down that art big time.
Yeah, and there's always Helvetica.
It's always good.
That lives forever. Yeah.
Futura.
Futura. Is that Futura?
Font is Gotham. Just so everyone knows, Gotham is the best font ever.
Yeah. Oh, when I work on shows, I have fonts for the show. Like sometimes I'll make my own fonts. Yeah. I'll sometimes modify fonts so that whenever I make graphics, nobody can say, "Oh, he just used, Futura." I want to make sure that people that start to say that, they look closer and they go, wait a minute, but that O is a little different. So,
yeah, they use something else in that. But, usually invariably what ends up with me is showrunners never like the new fonts you pick. You always end up back with Helvetica and Futura. It always goes back every time. Or Papyrus, apparently, or not. But there you go.
Or Hobo. Yeah, it's just use Hobo from now on.
One thing the guy said too, it's second most hated font in the world. What's the first?
I think Comic Sans is considered to be the most hated font, right?
Maybe that's why they ended the skit with Comic Sans. Which
I think that's what it was. Papyrus written in Comic Sans. Yeah,
that is really funny. All right, so this became a full-length episode. We hope you guys enjoyed our breakdown of marketing for the new Avatar movie, because that's what we do.
Yeah, it's what we do, and it's important to us. And I think, some people may not think of fonts when they look at things, but if we can trigger one person to kind of, do a double take, like, what font is that? That's
a cool logo.
That's a cool title treatment. Somebody did some work on that, and it's beautiful, and I want that on a T-shirt or something,
So just so you guys know, Do not ever use Comic Sans or Papyrus when you're doing anything ever. Just don't. So now you know. Anything else can just slide by, but do not use those fonts.
Well, Comic Sans to me is the font that you use when you make a piece of paper that you put up in the break room that says, please put the sponge on the back of the sink instead of leaving it in the sink. You know what I
want
mean?
it to look friendly. So you do that. And so then
Thank
it looks
you.
fun. It's like a cute font instead of like, put the stuff in the sink. It's like,
Right.
hi, I'm just waiting here to tell you.
Do not put used K-cups in the garbage disposal.
It's so true. All right, you guys. I think you've heard enough.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Let us
Bye,
know what you
everybody.
think of Comic Sans and Papyrus. Bye.